9. Okay, 80 attendees are there right now. So please wait for next 1 or 2 minutes and then we will start. So first of all, let me start the recording. Please keep notebook and pen with you. You all are requested to keep notebook and pen because you have to write some important points. Today we will do the comparison of different algorithms which are available at the network layer. So recording started. Now let me focus on the screen. Let me focus on the presentation. So in the last session, I think we have discussed up to the difference between connection-less service and connection-oriented service, and we have seen that how the packet will be forwarded, how the data is sent from sender to receiver, and we have also seen that if a device wants to send the data, then how the router like router A, router C and router E is forwarding the data. Okay, so we have seen the table and the table is available on your screen. We have discussed the routing table under the connection-less service, and we have also discussed the routing table under the connection-oriented service, that is known as virtual circuit. I think the table which is available under the connection-oriented service under the virtual circuit, this table we have to discuss. I have said that you have to refer the table of A, C and E. You have to refer that A is maintaining the input queue, A is also maintaining the output queue. So under the input queue and under the output queue, if you consider A, then what is H1 and 1, what is H3 and 1, what is C, then C and 1, and what is C and 2. So do you have any idea about this table which is available on your screen? If you refer A's table, then how the entries are appended, how the entries are reflected? Is there anyone who can explain me the entries which are reflected under A, under C and under E? H1 and 1. Does it mean that A is directly connected with H1? H3 and 1. Does it mean that A is directly connected with H3? C and 1. Does it mean that C is directly connected with A? And C and 2. Does it mean that to send data to C, it is possible to send data to C via some other interface as well? So do you have any idea about the table which is available on your screen? We'll discuss this in detail, but right now you have to remember that we have discussed connection oriented service and connection less service, and we have seen that how the connection less service works and how the connection oriented service works. So in connection less service, you can see 4 packets are there. All 4 packets are following independent path, whereas in connection oriented service, all 4 packet 1, packet 2, 3 and 4, they are following the same path. Okay, H1 to A to C, C to E to F, and then F to H2. H1 is a source and H2 is a destination. So all 4 packets are following the same path. This is the case of connection oriented service. We have discussed the difference between datagram and virtual circuit. We have virtual circuit, it means connection oriented communication, and datagram, it means connection less communication. So I think we have discussed that connection less datagram communication is unreliable communication, and virtual circuit subnet or connection oriented communication is reliable communication, because in virtual circuit subnet receiver has to send the acknowledgement, whereas in datagram subnet receiver will not send any acknowledgement. So can you please acknowledge we have discussed this table or not?
No, sir, it's remaining.
Okay, so let me explain you this table. Datagram subnet and virtual circuit subnet. You are requested to write the difference as well in your notebook. You can write the difference, and later on you have to explain me at least 2 or 3 points with the help of which we can compare datagram and virtual circuit subnet. So please listen me carefully. Datagram subnet. Datagram subnet. If you refer the column, then 3 columns are there. The first column is issue, second column is datagram subnet, and the third column is virtual circuit subnet. So second column is datagram subnet. Second column is datagram subnet. So second column indicates that if it is connection less service, then how can we compare the issues, different issues with connection less service? So column number 2 represents datagram subnet, and column number 2, it is also representing the connection less service, and column number 3, that is virtual circuit subnet, it is representing connection oriented communication. So connection less communication, it means all packets are following independent path and no acknowledgement is sent by the receiver. And in virtual circuit subnet or in connection oriented communication, all packets have to follow same path and receiver will generate acknowledgement. Virtual circuit subnet or connection oriented communication is reliable, and datagram communication, datagram subnet communication or datagram communication is unreliable. Now let me compare the issues one by one. So the first issue is circuit setup. Okay, circuit setup. I am discussing all the issues which are available on your screen. So circuit setup, it is written that no circuit setup is required in datagram subnet, whereas circuit setup is required in virtual circuit subnet. So virtual circuit subnet, path between sender and receiver will be established and then the data communication will occur. This is virtual circuit subnet, okay? And in datagram subnet, you don't need to set up the path because every packet is following independent paths. So circuit setup or path setup is not required in connection less service, and path setup is required in virtual circuit or in connection oriented communication. So datagram subnet, it means, let me repeat one more time, it is connection less, and virtual circuit, it means connection oriented. So in connection oriented, path setup is phase 1 and then data communication is phase 2, whereas in connection less communication, datagram subnet communication, no path setup is required because every packet will be treated independently and all the packets are following independent path. Second issue is addressing. So each packet contains the full source and destination address, and in virtual circuit subnet each packet contains short VC number. So short VC number, it means whenever the sender establishes the path with the receiver, whenever the path is created, okay, logically one path will be created, logically one connection link will be created, logically one connection will be created in connection oriented service. So each and every path which is created, that path will have some number, identity number, some unique identity number. So path 1, path 2, 3, 4, unique number will be assigned, unique number is given to each and every connection, and that number is used as an address in connection oriented service. Right now you have to remember that in connection oriented communication between sender and receiver, one logical link, one link will be created, and that link will be having one identity number, and that number is known as VC number, okay, virtual circuit number. That is what you have to remember right now. In datagram subnet, full source and destination address, it means sender's IP address and receiver's IP address is enough in connection-less communication. Third issue is state information. So routers do not hold state information about connection because it is connection-less communication. And in connection-oriented communication, each VC requires router table space per connection. So router can remember the connection. You just have to remember this only. Routers can remember the connection in the case of connection-oriented communication, and routers, they do not hold, they do not store any state information in connection-less communication. Now, if you consider routing, then each packet routed independently, that is already discussed. In connection-less, each packet is routed independently. And in virtual circuit or in connection-oriented communication, router chosen when VC is set up, on all packets have to follow the same path. Okay, this is the routing in connection-oriented communication. Effect of router failure. So if the intermediate device fails, then it is not possible to track that how many packets are received and how many packets are sent in connection-less communication. But in case of the intermediate device fails, then all VCs that pass through the failed router are terminated, and again retransmission is possible in connection-oriented communication. It is possible to retransmit the data because we can keep the track of the packets which are sent, and we can keep the track of the packets which are received in connection-oriented. Now, quality of service, it is very difficult to achieve quality of service in datagram subnet, and in virtual circuit subnet or in connection-oriented communication, you can easily achieve quality of service. Now, quality of service, it means you have the network available. Assume that you have the CharuSat campus network available with you, and you are working as the network administrator of CharuSat campus network. So connection, or if you consider the quality of service, then quality of service, it means you can use the network for hosting some live event. You can use the network for sending and receiving the messages. You can use the network for hosting different types of services like e-governance and all. So every service, whether you consider live video conference, or you consider sending and receiving message, or you consider chatting, or you consider hosting the service like e-governance, then every service requires different treatment. Okay, if it is live event, if it is hosting live event, then you have to, or it requires constant bit rate, it requires full internet speed to host the live event. Okay, no fluctuations can be tolerated. So quality of service, it means if user wants to host live event, then appropriate bandwidth you have to allocate. If user wants to use the network for sending and receiving message, then you have to allocate appropriate bandwidth. If the sender wants to host, or sender wants to provide the services like e-governance or CCTV or any other service, then you have to allocate, you have to reserve proper bandwidth for that particular service. So reserving the bandwidth, allocating the speed, all these are the parts of quality of service. So it is very difficult to achieve quality of service in connection-less communication, whereas in connection-oriented communication, you can easily achieve quality of service. And congestion control, it means the traffic. If you consider the network traffic, if you consider the individual node, then congestion, it means numbers of packets which are transmitted and numbers of packets which are dropped, numbers of packets which are received. So to deal with the congestion, it is very difficult to implement the algorithm for connection-less communication for dealing with congestion. And to deal with the congestion, it is easy in connection-oriented communication to deal with the congestion or to deal with the network traffic. So you can easily deal with the network traffic, you can easily deal because you have the idea about the path, you have the idea about the packets which are sent, you have the idea about the packets which are received, you have the idea about packets which are dropped. So it is easy to implement congestion control mechanism in virtual circuit subnet or connection oriented communication, whereas it is very difficult to implement congestion control technique in datagram subnet or in connection less communication. Now, from your side, I want the explanation about any 2 points, any 2 issues which are listed on your screen. Explain me any 2 issues which differentiates datagram subnet with virtual circuit subnet. Virtual circuit subnet is connection oriented communication and datagram subnet is connection less communication. So can you explain me any 2 issues with respect to datagram subnet and virtual circuit subnet out of the issues which we have discussed? What we are discussing connection-less and connection-oriented communication, and we are discussing datagram subnet and virtual circuit subnet. So can you please tell me the difference? Can you please tell me the comparison of datagram subnet and virtual circuit subnet? What is the difference? So issues are available on your screen. Okay, issues are there. You can consider circuit setup, you can consider addressing, you can consider state information, routing, effect of router failure, quality of service and congestion control. And with respect to all this, you can explain me the difference between datagram subnet and virtual circuit subnet. So when the connection will follow connection oriented approach and when the connection follows connection less approach, how it will be decided that the connection is connection oriented or connection less? How it will be decided? It will be decided based on what? You have to consider that you are following TCP/IP protocol stack. So application, transport, network, data link and physical, 5 layers are there. So if you have 5 layers, then what or which particular parameter will decide that the connection will be connection oriented or connection less? You have to keep TCP/IP in your mind only, and then you have to tell me which layer, which particular layer decides whether the connection will be connection oriented or connection less. Think about TCP/IP protocol only and tell me which layer, which particular layer decides the connection is connection oriented or connection less. I think we have discussed about TCP/IP protocol stack and we have discussed that if you use HTTP protocol at the application layer, then HTTP uses TCP at the transport layer, TCP uses IP at the network layer, and IP uses LLC and MAC at the network, LLC and MAC in the data link layer. And then at the physical layer, you have the binary bits available. And the other case is if you use simple network management protocol, and simple network management protocol uses UDP at the transport layer. UDP, it has to use only IP protocol at the network layer because we don't have any other option. At the data link layer, LLC and MAC is used because it is a part of the wired network. And then at the physical layer, you have binary bits available. So which particular case is the case of connection oriented communication and which particular case is the case of connection less communication? Can you tell me what is connection oriented communication and what is connection less communication? If you type google.com in the web browser, then google.com, it requires HTTP protocol. Your web browser will append HTTP as a prefix and then :/www.google.com. So if you type google.com, then at application layer you are using HTTP protocol. HTTP protocol always uses TCP at the transport layer, then IP, then LLC plus MAC, and then binary. So the comparison which is available on your screen, it is the comparison of two different protocols used at the application layer. One is HTTP and second one is SNMP. SNMP stands for Simple Network Management Protocol. In case 1, HTTP is using TCP at the transport layer. In case 2, SNMP is using UDP at the transport layer. You have TCP/IP protocol only. You are using TCP/IP protocol. So if you use TCP/IP protocol, then 5 layers can follow approach 1 or 5 layers can follow approach 2. So which approach is connection oriented approach and which approach is connection less approach, and why?
Sir, approach 1 will be connection oriented and second one will be connection less.
Correct, correct. So why approach 1 is connection oriented and why approach 2 is connection less?
Sir, TCP protocol will going to establish link before communication.
Correct, very good. And UDP protocol?
It will direct start communicating with the host.
Correct.
Without connection establishment.
Correct, very good. So TCP protocol is connection oriented protocol and UDP protocol is connection less protocol. So you can see that at the transport layer, okay, at the transport layer we are deciding, at the transport layer we are deciding that whether the connection will be connection oriented or connection less. And who will decide this? The application layer protocol which you are using, it will decide whether it will go with TCP or it will go with UDP. Please remember that majority of the protocol like HTTP, then SMTP, then FTP, and then other protocols are also there. So majority of the protocols are using TCP at the transport layer, but there are very few protocol like SNMP, then DNS. This very small scale is there, but there are very few protocols which are working at the application layer and they will go with UDP. But majority of the protocols which are working at the application layer, they used to, or they prefer to go with TCP only. So at the transport layer, if you use TCP, transmission control protocol, then it will create connection oriented communication. It will follow connection oriented communication. And at the transport layer, if you use user datagram protocol, then it will follow connection less approach. Now HTTP to TCP communication and SNMP to UDP communication, this communication is required or not? HTTP to TCP and SNMP to UDP communication is required or not? Yes or no? Just consider that I have typed google.com. So in that particular case, I am using HTTP at the application layer. So HTTP is a process. Okay, HTTP is a protocol, but ultimately, whenever you will invoke HTTP, then HTTP will be considered as a process. So HTTP to TCP communication, TCP is also a protocol, but it is also known as a process because whenever you run the protocol in the computer, whenever you use the protocol in the computer, TCP will be treated as a process HTTP will be treated as a process to process communication is required or not? HTTP to TCP and SNMP to UDP communication is required or not? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So HTTP, it has to communicate with TCP. TCP has to communicate with IP. So the point is communication between HTTP and TCP. This communication can be achieved with the help of port address. The communication between HTTP and TCP can be achieved with the help of port address. So similarly, in case of SNMP to UDP communication, transport layer you have to use the port address for establishing the communication between application layer and transport layer. So HTTP to TCP communication requires port address. SNMP to UDP communication requires port address. So port address is the address of the service which is running at the application layer. Port address is not the address of any hardware. Okay, you have to remember. Port address is used for the communication between HTTP and TCP and communication between SNMP and UDP. So now you have the idea about when the connection will become connection oriented communication and when the connection will become connection less communication. So can you explain me now any two issues related with connection less communication and connection oriented communication? Any two issues you can explain? There are seven different issues. There are seven issues which they have mentioned, and based on that they have compared the connection less communication with connection oriented communication. So can you explain me any two issue with respect to connection less communication and connection oriented communication? In this particular session, I will try to complete this subnet and supernet. Okay, the difference between subnet and supernet, and then I will end this session because it requires 5 minutes approximately to discuss about the definition of subnet and supernet, and then we will discuss when the network administrator follows subnetting approach and when the network administrator follows supernetting approach. So the last slide of this session will be this slide only, the slide which is available on your screen, networking in depth. But before we go and discuss the difference between subnetting and supernetting, my request to all of you is if you can explain any two issue with respect to connection oriented and connection less communication. Datagram subnet, it means the network which is following connection less approach, and virtual circuit subnet, it means the network which is following connection oriented approach. So can you please explain me any two issue, any two points with the help of which we can differentiate datagram subnet with virtual circuit subnet? Now, see, there are 1 or 2 points which we can add over here, and those 2 points are what? Which particular subnet, whether it is datagram subnet or virtual circuit subnet, is easy to implement. If you consider the complexity of the implementation, then we can easily implement datagram subnet or virtual circuit subnet. In terms of the implementation, datagram subnet is easy to implement. You can easily implement datagram subnet because to implement connection-less communication, it does not require any extra effort. You can easily implement datagram subnet because you don't need to track the individual packet. You don't need to track the packets which are required to be retransmitted and all. So if you consider the control information, if you consider the complexity of the communication, then complexity of the datagram subnet is very less compared to virtual circuit subnet complexity. It is very difficult to implement virtual circuit subnet because you have to take care of multiple parameters. If I say that which communication will be more faster, datagram subnet communication or virtual circuit subnet communication? If we consider the speed, if we consider the pace of the communication, then datagram subnet communication will be more faster because packets are following, datagrams are following independent path, and you don't need to keep track of the datagrams or the packets which are sent. So complexity, very less complexity is involved. And if you consider the TCP protocol and UDP protocol, which is responsible for defining whether the connection will be connection oriented or connection less, then in UDP protocol header only 4 or 5 fields are there, whereas in TCP protocol header, if you see the TCP protocol header, then 8 to 12 fields are there. So TCP protocol is more complex and UDP protocol is a simple protocol. UDP is a simple protocol and TCP is a complex protocol because TCP has to deal with individual packet. TCP has to deal with the retransmission. TCP has to deal with congestion control. TCP has to deal with some other complex issues with the help of which we can make the connection reliable. Okay, so TCP is a complex protocol and UDP is a simple protocol. So can you please explain me any two issues? Congestion control means what? What is congestion control? And what is quality of service? Can you please explain me last two issues? Congestion control, congestion. Congestion, this word is related with the individual node. You can see router A, router B, router C, D, E and F. Router A is managing the queue, it is maintaining the buffer. Router has to manage, router has memory, router has RAM. So router has to maintain the buffer. All the routers are maintaining the memory for storing the incoming packet and for forwarding the outgoing packet. So if router A has 100 MB RAM, assume that router A has 100 MB RAM, router B, C, D, E and F, they have 100 MB RAM. What happens or what will happen if that 100 MB RAM gets full? If router A's memory gets full, then what will happen with router A? Are you getting what I am saying? All the intermediate devices are maintaining the buffer, all the intermediate devices are maintaining the memory. What will happen if that memory gets full? If no space is available in the memory of router A, this event is known as what? If A's storage gets full, if A's memory gets full, then A will not be able to process the incoming packet or A will not be able to process the outgoing packet. If the memory is full and if sender sends one more packet to A, then A will not be able to copy that packet into the memory. A will not be able to copy that packet into the buffer because no space is available. So if router A's memory gets full, if router A's buffer gets full, this event is known as congestion. A is congested. We can say that A is congested because A has no space available. So congestion is related with the individual node. It is possible that C has enough space available. C has enough memory available to store the incoming packet and to forward the outgoing packet. So we can say that C is not congested. But A is congested because no space is available in A. It is possible that different routers may have different storage. So in your network, in the network in which you are working, it is possible that some of the nodes are facing congestion and some of the nodes are not facing congestion. Are you getting this or not?
Yes, sir.
So congestion control you can easily achieve a congestion control in connection oriented approach, because if no space is available in A, then you can simply inform the sender that please stop sending packet, please wait for a while, please wait for 1 minute 30 seconds or some time, and then transmit the packet, because you have full control on packet in connection oriented communication. But in connection less communication, you don't have the full control on the packet because packets are following independent path, and that's why it is easy to implement the congestion control in connection oriented communication. And quality of service, it means real-time communication. If you consider the case of live video conference, if you consider the case of hosting live event in your campus, if you consider Facebook Live, YouTube Live, or any other live event, then for that you have to allocate proper bandwidth. You have to provide proper speed, internet speed for hosting that live event. So this is one case of quality of service. You want to use your network for taking the backup. Okay, whatever the hard disks which are available in the server, you want to take the backup of those hard disks over the network. So again, it is one case of quality of service. At the time of taking backup, you should ensure that proper speed should be provided. If you consider the case of sending and receiving message, asynchronous messages, then again it requires availability of the network. If the network is not available, you cannot send and receive messages. So this is again one case of quality of service. So quality of service, if the network administrator is able to deal with the quality of service, then network administrator can ensure the satisfaction of the user, the satisfaction of the customer. But if the quality of service is violated, then there will be a dissatisfaction about that particular network. You can consider the case of using 4G internet in your mobile phone or using broadband internet in your laptop. Right now, I am conducting the online session. So whatever the network service provider, whatever the internet service provider which you are following right now, if you are following Reliance, Jio, or if you are following any other internet service provider, or if you are following any other broadband internet service provider, then if there is a fluctuation in my voice, if there is a huge delay in terms of getting my voice, if some disturbance is there at your side, it means quality of service is violated. If the quality of service is violated, then user, customer will be dissatisfied with the network. And if the customer will be dissatisfied with the network, then customer may change the network. This possibility is also exist. So network administrator has to design the network carefully. Network administrator has to put the enough numbers of intermediate devices. Network administrator has to provide or make provision of enough network bandwidth so that it can satisfy the user's requirement. So this is quality of service. So now I will not discuss the subnetting and supernetting concept right now, because we have only 2 or 3 minutes, maximum 2 to 3 minutes are remaining in this particular session. So now in the remaining time, let us discuss about your doubts, about your questions, queries. In the meanwhile, let me mark the attendance. So if you have any question, any query related with the points which we have discussed today, then you can ask me. Do you have any query? Any query, any question? Any question, any query? Okay, your attendance is marked. So feel free to ask me the question if you have. And the homework from this session is, please study something which is related with subnetting and supernetting. Please study this two, like the networking concepts, subnetting and supernetting. And in the next session, I will explain you the need of subnetting and the need of supernetting. Majority of the internet service provider, majority of the network administrators are following subnetting concept only. So subnetting concept, even if you consider the case of Charusat campus network, then subnetting is already implemented. It is implemented since long in our network. Subnetting is followed, and in the majority of the networks you will find that this subnetting is already implemented. But there are very few cases in which you will find that supernet or supernetting is implemented. So it should be known to you, like when this network administrator will go with subnetting approach and when the network administrator will go with supernetting approach. So these two important parameters will be discussed in the next session. So for now, if you have any question, any query, then you can ask me. Okay, sir, supernetting is generally used in CIDR, classless interdomain routing. Yes. So Jay has asked a question. Sir, supernetting is generally used in CIDR. So yes, supernetting concept is applicable to classless interdomain routing. CIDR stands for classless interdomain routing. Yes, the answer is yes. Supernetting is used. It is followed in CIDR cases, but see, those who are not knowing what is CIDR, please don't worry. I will explain you this supernetting in detail. So at the time of discussing the supernetting, you will get the idea about what is classless interdomain routing. So let me stop the recording first. Okay. So any question, any query? Do you have any question? Okay. So no further questions are there. So thank you very much for joining this session. Now you can leave. Thank you.